of the government playing with our minds. And I'm very grateful to a UK column viewer for sending me this article. Now, unfortunately, I haven't got a date on it. I think it was a few weeks ago, possibly a month ago, but it's from Scottish Herald's Daniel Powell Tribunal, Glasgow civil servant loses case. Interesting that the headline doesn't give any clue as to what's going on here. But if we delve into reports around this, all becomes clear very quickly. So Mr. Powell, a civilian based with the MOD in Glasgow, was forced to read a paper which suggested that white people are psychotic, cannot be reasoned with, and must be destroyed. And as a result, he sued the government for race discrimination and harassment, claiming the way that diversity and inclusion is being implemented within the MOD breaches the Civil Service Code, as he considers that what's happening represents a left-wing and Marxist political ideology. But his case was dismissed because while the tribunal found that the Psychosis of Whiteness paper had been part of the material given to managers within the MOD, Mr. Powell had apparently misread it. He was not bright enough to understand what it said. And effectively, the tribunal concluded that the MOD had never directly disseminated the document to staff, had never used it in training, and did not endorse its contents. But effectively, the gentleman claimed the MOD had been taken over by subversives. But the judge said that basically it was important for democracy that papers like the one in the case challenge people's views, and as such, its use by the MOD could not be found to be discriminatory against its staff. And I think the final comment by this lawyer, Andrew Gibson, says it all, representing the MOD. The lawyer said that the claimant simply had a skewed view and sees himself as a spokesperson for downtrodden white men. Now, I'm just going to remind our audience that some time ago, I've put here circa 2019, apologies, this is not a good image, but this was a grid that the MOD circulated, which was apparently to get people to look for indicators and warnings against people who were right-wing extremists within the military and the army in particular. And my point here is that this type of policy is not only alive and well, it's being accelerated by the government in order not only to capture our minds, but to control the way we think, we speak and think. And on the subject of manipulation of our minds, I'll add to this little section the fact that on the parliamentary website fairly recently, the description as to the role of an MP was changed. Now, luckily, one of our supporters put in a Freedom of Information request asking why the description was changed and where the orders for that change had originally come from. And I have to say that the answer that came back was very dismissive. It says that the Freedom of Information Act 2000 only provides you with the public with access to recorded information held at the time of the request. It does not extend to providing confirmations or explanations which are not already held in recorded form, nor are we required by the Act to create information to answer your question. It goes on to say that said, it may help the person asking the question to know that the web page they referred to is managed and updated by the House's Inquiry Service. So this is hugely important, that the actual description as to the official role of an MP was changed on the website. But when a member of the public asks what this was about, who did this, the answer is effectively a wall of silence. Sandy, I'll just bring you in here because this is really bringing home to us that we're now being governed not only by a cabal, but it's a cabal that's prepared to manipulate information and data in order to deny us knowledge and or to skew our views on particular subjects. Could be immigration, or it could be politicians. What do you think?
Yes, exactly. I mean, we've noticed it throughout the years, for decades now, NGOs, change agents coming into communities with that in mind, with this idea of actually changing and skewing people's minds to certain ideologies. And I think, this open infiltration, as you know, through Common Purpose, it's been happening for years and years. And what we see is a very pernicious, almost, it is an attack on the UK and Europe, actually, the whole of Europe. It's an attack on the West. It's to destroy the West. And we see this every single day, different policies that are destroying our infrastructure. I mean, you look at the climate stuff, it's destroying our farming. Farmers are not farming now because they're being prevented to by climate change policy. So we see this with the immigration as well. And I don't know whether we're going into what's happening locally now.
No, we'll come.
We just.
Sandy, we'll come back to that. I just wanted to reinforce this point that the manipulation of our minds is an attack on the public, and we have to understand the government's attacking us.